Having done a locum in private practice, I decided I didn't have to be very good to be in private practice, and that perhaps I should look at doing this. We had a big old villa in St Clair's suburb of Dunedin, and after speaking with my husband and a friend, an accountant, it was decided that yes, Barbara could have the children's playroom as her physiotherapy room, and we would do it up with a view to Barbara working from home, which seemed a much better idea. So first thing I thought I had to do was I went to see Billy McLeod, who was principal of the physio school, and asked her what she thought about this as an idea. And she thought it was a wonderful idea. In fact, she got so enthused about it, it became her idea. And this was exactly what I wanted, because I didn't want to cross Billy's path at any stage. Billy, I learnt very early, was much better to have on your side than against you. So I spoke to some of the GPs that were in the medical centre by this other practice, and they thought, yes, they'd send me work. So I went ahead and duly opened my doors in beginning of April 1973, which was exactly 12 months before ACC started. So I had 12 months working under the old system. Now the first patients that I got in those days, unfortunately, were mainly house calls. Old Stanley Paris had stopped work not all that long before that, and there was still some of his old clientele sitting waiting for their house calls of some magic hands and an infrared lamp. So I had to find somebody to look after my children and do the housework for a half day, and I would spend a half day trundling around Dunedin doing perhaps 8 or 9 house calls, with much of it with my infrared lamp, and doing not very effective physiotherapy, to be honest, because you can't do a lot when you don't know much about the lumbar spine, and it's an old 80-year-old lumbar spine anyway. It's bound to hurt, but we really were very ignorant about managing a whole lot of problems in those days, and rubbing an OA knee with magic hands for 20 minutes and doing some quads exercise didn't really justify the 2 guinea treatment fee either. Talking of my fees, there were patients who thought that I charged too much, more than they could afford, and so I was very soft touch in those days and would very easily negotiate it down, or let them negotiate it down. And I can remember I did this for one old lady, and in the 6 weeks that I was going to visit her, she bought a new bedroom suite, she bought a new sitting room suite, she had the house recarpeted, and then, would you believe, she paid her bill to me with a share dividend cheque. That's the good canny Scots of Dunedin, but however, they were not all like that. I have to say my practice grew very rapidly, and about the same time I learnt about the Private Practitioners Association and the Manipulative Therapists Association, and an old classmate of mine urged me to go to Taupo to one of these wonderful weekends, and so I then learnt more about what was happening in the country, and indeed that was how I started doing my manual therapy training.
PT.